Vega was on a roll. Laughing and giggling, he was invading more and more labyrinths. He never realized that he was in a hierarchy that had been isolated by rammers. Intuitively, this hierarchy will soon fall into Vega's hands. In fact, the assimilation rate is currently over 90%. Hey, it's a piece of cake. Vega mutters in a good mood. The others were telling them about the horror of the labyrinth, but it seemed to be less serious than he had expected. Even the labyrinth of rammers seemed to be unable to resist Vega's ultimate skill-evil Dragon King Azidahaka. They were left to be overrun. Coo. I didn't think for a minute that the labyrinth itself would attack us. I guess I won the battle. Vega exults in this self-praise. If the enemy gains immortality in the labyrinth, Vega can copy it. Within the hierarchy he had taken, he would have the same power. Although they cannot affect the whole labyrinth yet, Vega will have it all if he continues to erode the labyrinth. Only then will the tables be turned. The enemy was sitting on its absolute superiority. They wonder what they will look like when their strongholds are taken away from them. The mere thought of it made Vega's heart flutter. He could imagine the fools who were in a panic. He's going to round up all of them who have lost their power. That's my style. Perfect plan. Vega laughs. Let those who disrespected him know that he is worthy of their respect. Then, Feldway would have seen Vega for what he was, and he would have given him the first of the 3-star generals. Fen, Zelario, and Jahal did not like any of them. Vega should have been the best man to stand with Feldway. That will be the reality soon. Ha. I'm going to eat this labyrinth and prove that I'm the best. These words were uttered unintentionally. It was not what he expected a response. Don't be so arrogant. You should know that you can't bring down this labyrinth. The cold voice echoed in the empty space. No, just one. Vega's vision was caught by something that was not supposed to be there. It was a butterfly. A butterfly of light with beautiful rainbow-colored wings was fluttering in the sky. Ah. Before Vega's suspicious eyes, the butterfly's outline blurs. And then he noticed that it represented a human figure. A warrior figure, protected by a jet-black adamantite exoskeleton. The armed skeletons of his arms and legs, and the single horn on his forehead, shone with Hihirakine's characteristic iridescent radiance. The warrior's name was... Who are you? Vega asked, to which a solemn voice replied. My name is Zegion, loyal servant of the great demon Lord Rimuru-sama, and the one who bears the title of Mist Lord. The real Zegion was here, not the hallucination before Dino and his friends. Ethereal, dreamlike. The strongest guardian in the labyrinth has appeared before Vega. Normally, Vega would have understood the danger of the labyrinth at a glance. But Vega was on a roll. He felt invincible because he had discovered a new use of his power, and thought he had the labyrinth to himself. And since he was here in the space he controlled, Vega had a vague idea of the power of Zegion's presence. The comparison was about 4 to 1. Vega's presence had grown to a little less than 4 times that of Zegion's. That's why he was sure that he could win. Zegion. Vega spat out, but it was impossible for him not to know. Dino had explained it to him so much that he had to keep repeating it. Vega was just not listening because he had no interest in it. Vega does not perceive Zegion as a threat and asks condescendingly. When did you invade my domain? If he didn't notice the intrusion, he should have been more vigilant. But Vega was indifferent. Vega is surprised that he did not feel anything until now, but he thinks it does not matter much. What matters is the ability to fight, and hiding is not enough to beat the enemy. This was a lesson Vega had learned from real experience, having lived his life on the run and in hiding. Zegion replies without concern. It's easy. I was there from the beginning, that's all. I see. That's a blind spot. Vega was convinced. No wonder he felt no sign of intrusion and could find no trace of the roots. Vega had spread all over the labyrinthine ground. Once he knew the reason, he was not afraid. You're a fool. If you had stayed hidden until the end, I would have missed you. Vega chuckles. The small fry, who had been hiding too late, must have realized that they were trapped. He must have jumped out in his haste. He has not even heard the other party's line more than half of the time. He did not even care about the meaning of the words Mist Lord, nor did he feel the weight of Zegion's words. You're a lucky man, you know that. But it's only the difference between early and late, and you'll be honored to die as my food. Vega then created 4 evil dragons spawn, and ordered them to eliminate Zegion. Each one is stronger than the one that fought Hinata and the others. Their existence values exceeded 4 million, and they had accumulated much combat experience. The problem is that they cannot produce many of them due to the scarcity of materials, but they still have plenty of time to spare, since they can use the energy they obtain by eating the labyrinth inexhaustibly. In Vega's sense, Zegion and evil dragon spawn were equal. It would be difficult to defeat Zegion with only 1 spawn, but with 4 spawns, he thinks he has enough time to defeat Zegion. But the next moment, 4 evil dragon spawn attacked their prey at once, and in a flash of light, they were cut into small pieces and disappeared. It was so fast that even Vega could not tell what had happened. What? Did you beat my evil dragon spawn so easily? What kind of trick did you use? While Vega worked to control the labyrinth, Majin, who calls himself Zegion, did not attack at all. Vega remains disrespectful to Zegion because he thinks that if he wanted to interfere, he could have done it earlier. What matters to Vega is not the truth in front of him. What mattered to Vega was how he thought and felt. Because of this false thinking and perception, Vega does not see the threat of Zegion. But that is not important to Zegion. The reason why Zegion did not attack in the first place is that Ramos waited until the isolation of this hierarchy. Otherwise, they would not have missed Vega's action. Since this is not the 80th level, Zegion is not in charge of it. However, it is an emergency now, and other guardians are on their way. As long as Legion is entrusted with the responsibility of looking after his friends, he is responsible for them. The labyrinth is a place that they must protect. Zegion will not allow anyone to defile the labyrinth. It would have been impossible for them to allow such a filth like Vega to do what they want. Zegion was angry, though it was rare. Unaware of this, Vega poured more fuel on the fire. Haha, don't get carried away just because you beat a little fish. This labyrinth belongs to me now. I know. Demon Lord Rimuru has some famous minions, doesn't he? The Mist Lord. I know you're trying to say you're one of them, but to me, everyone's the same. After hearing that, Zegion clenched his fists. Well, the one we have to watch out for is the woman we fought the other day. Well, I let that one go, so if I run into her again, I'll eat her myself. Vega says this without hesitation, and Tensura could not help but be outraged as she heard it. Then he continued. And Benimaru, right. I think there are others, but I don't care. Whoever they are, they're small fry to me. He said proudly. It was as if Vega had signed the petition for execution with his own hand. Vega is convinced of his overwhelming superiority and does not doubt it. But, however, it does not take him long to realize that he is mistaken. Nonsense. If you have an enemy in front of you, you can judge his strength by looking at him. If he focuses on the enemy, he won't need any other information. You're just a fish hiding in the wind of cowardice. Well, you'll have to see for yourself. Hearing Zegion's reply, Vega snorted in amusement. Then, slowly raising his coercion, he took a stance. Alright, I'll show you. I'm going to end this boring battle and let the world know how great I am. Vega said this in a superior manner. Zegion responded in a very matter-of-fact manner. You are right in that, you don't enjoy fighting. He answered and then composed himself. Vega added a few more words as if he pitied Zegion. You're pitiful, aren't you? You still think you won't die, don't you? But you're mistaken. I'm in control of this labyrinth now. It was Vega who was pitiful. In the labyrinth where Ramos had isolated, he was barking like the naked king without understanding what was going on. I mean it. You thought you could come back to life even if you died, so you could challenge me, who is far superior to you. You're a booger. Vega said as much as he could. Vega tried to tell Zegion in his wits that he could fight without worrying about the difference in strength, because he had the assurance that he could revive even if he lost, but he was unable to accomplish his goal. By simply informing Zegion that he had taken away the labyrinth's immortality, the enemy would be shaken and self-destruct. It was supposed to be so, but Zegion moved before Vega could finish his speech. Vega's story was too long. It was an unbelievable folly on Zegion's part to continue talking even after his opponent had taken a position on the battlefield. Besides, Zegion's patience had already reached its limit. Death to those who defile the labyrinth. Zegion's command from Rimuru, and the meaning of his life. Although he understood and agreed to the plan to have Ramos take away a part of the labyrinth, as explained by Benimaru and approved by Ramos, he was not at ease with the situation. Defiling the labyrinth was an act tantamount to being scandalized by Zegion. Once Ramos was ready and the isolation of the hierarchy was completed, there was no need to be patient at all. Still, he was considerate enough to have agreed to Vega's story. At any rate, Zegion unleashed his anger and blocked Vega's words. With a light jab, Vega is blown away. You. Vega stared at Zegion, holding his bleeding nose. Wait. I ate the labyrinth and I'm immortal, but I'm not dead. Finally, Vega realizes it. Whether he is immortal or not is not important, but his real strength has not changed. He thinks that the supply of energy has become inexhaustible, but it does not mean that his instantaneous firepower has increased. Existence value is not equal to combat capability. If resources are allocated to the parts that are practically irrelevant to the combat, it is not that helpful. It would be more realistic to judge by the amount of magicule, and in that sense, even if Vega's existence value was 4 times less than Zegion's, it was not a basis for winning the battle. Zegion silently chased after Vega. Vega's vision went dark without understanding what had happened. It was Zegion's kick. When he had closed the gap between the two, his foot raised high to the sky, showing the true nature of the attack. Slowly lowering his foot, keeping Vega in sight, Zegion tells him. That's tough. Next time I'll go a little harder, okay? With that, Zegion disappears. It was Zegion's Godspeed maneuver far beyond Vega's perception. No matter how much magic perception he used to grasp space, and no matter how much he used thought acceleration, Vega cannot capture Zegion's movement. Zegion's movement was not only fast, but also a mixture of reality, illusion, and falsity. Through actual combat experience in the labyrinth, combat methods were evolving day by day. Zegion, the strongest warrior in the labyrinth, was the pioneer. Since Zegion and Epido are connected by soul, it was possible to reproduce their powers to some extent. Zegion is a fearfully evolved creature. Zegion was diligent. He researched and studied every possible ability. With the ultimate skull world of Illusion King Mephisto, Zegion was testing all his abilities. He especially emphasized space-time manipulation, and even improved his own interpretation of Valdor's-style killing arts. It was a near impossible task for anyone to spot Zegion's moves at first sight. Vega could not have done it. Vega, however, survived by making a quick decision. In particular, the ultimate enchantment multiple weapons obtained by eating Oreo worked well. Vega, in Magin form, is protected by a mythical great armor. It would be impossible for an ordinary Magin to break it. It would have been extremely difficult even for a Demon Lord seed. What would happen if Vega concentrated only on defending himself, regardless of his appearance? Vega's whole body shone suspiciously and showed its maximum strength. In addition to this, an almond-shaped kite shield appeared 3 times in front of Vega, with his hands outstretched in front of him. But Vega was so exaggeratedly defensive, but Zegion's attack here was a mere punch. The power of the punch was immeasurable, since Vega's arm was armed with a Heiir King. It shattered 2 of Vega's 3 kite shields and cracked the last one. But still, it was just a punch. This fact was enough to change Vega's perception. He's a monster. Damn, I thought I had underestimated Demon Lord Rimuru a little bit, that there are still such bastards left. Vega regrets that he underestimated Zegion. Not just a little, but completely, but Vega's self-esteem is such as it is. Lack of reflection is a bad habit, but positive thinking is one of Vega's few virtues. Having recognized Zegion, Vega began his analysis once again.